चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजा पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। Okay, people are sending. Okay, so we're going to continue with Ayodhya Kanda, chapter 94 onwards. Bharata, with his kingdom, has arrived at the outskirts of Citrakoota area. Now, Valmiki Rishi takes our attention to Sri Sita Ramachandra to tell us what is happening in Citrakoota at that time. So they have been living in the Citrakoot area for some time, and Sri Ramachandra, who was very eager and keen to see Sita happy, knew that in Citrakoot all sorts of delights, natural delights are awaiting them. So he wanted to show Sita Devi different places. It's like a tour of the place. Just as Valmiki Muni says, just as Indra speaks with Shachi Devi, his wife, and he says, Sita Devi, do you see this beautiful mountain? Just looking at Chitrakuta is so pleasing that I do not feel the loss of my kingdom or the distress because my friends are not with me. Na rajyad bhrushanam bhadre na sruhrid vinabhavah mano me badhate drashtva ramaniyam imam girim. When I say this very pleasing Ramaniya Girim mountain, my heart is not distressed. Mano me badhate na. And he says, look at this. And now he's giving, this is Chitrakoota area description from the eyes of Sri Ramachandra. He said, look at all the birds that are flocking the mountain peaks, the minerals that are coloring the mountain sides. And it seems like the peak is reaching to the sky. Now, some of us went to Chitrakoota, and I can say that till this date, Chitrakoota is somewhat very beautiful. And the day we had gone on it, it was a little cloudy, and the whole place was lush green. Climbing up the mountain was a little difficult, but having reached there, it was so serene. The mind was completely pacified. There was nothing to disturb the mind of any way. Just being there was so calming and therapeutic. He says, look at in some sides of the mountain, there are these minerals creeping out. So they have a silver color streaks. Some have red color streaks like blood. Some are yellowish. Some sparkle like stones. Some look like topaz, crystal. Different minerals seem to be shining. And he says the mountain is filled with beasts of different kinds: tigers, panthers, bears, birds. And I'm going to give you not every verse because this Sri Ramachandra is providing every detail of Chitrakuta mountain. And then he says, look, Sita, the Kinnaras, the very celestial beings, the Kinnaras and their concerts, they are wandering about this mountain and frolicking with their consorts. He says these Kinnaras, they're hanging their swords from the tree branches, okay, and they are relishing in the ponds and the rivers that is flowing around. And he said, can you notice the fragrance of all the flowers around here? Aren't they so pleasing to the senses? And he says to Sita, if I live with you and Lakshmana here for many, many years, I have nothing to be sorry about. And he says, I wish to live many autumns here because Sharad Ritu, we celebrate Sharad Purnima as Rasa Leela time for Krishna. So in this sense, Sri Ramachandra and Sita Devi performed their Rasa Leela in Chitrakuta. So he says, Yadi iha sharado anekaha tvaya sardham anindate. Taya sardham means along with you, sharing with you. Lakshmanecha vatsyami namam shokaha pradhakshyati. I will not be sorry, I will not be unhappy even a little bit if I can spend many, many autumns with you here along with Lakshmana with us. And then he says, I'm really captivated by looking at all these flowers, the trees laden with fruits, so many birds having come here and crooning, and it's just such a delightful. He says, my heart is really captivated. And he says, from staying here in this Chitrakuta forest, I see two advantages. One, I am free from the debt that I have given to my father in regard of my duty. And second, Bharata's happiness. Both I am freed from. He says, Anena vanavasane maya praptam phaladvayam. I get two fruits or two advantages. Pituhu cha anurta, the truthfulness, so the word given to my father, Bharatasya priyam tatha. Then he asks Sita Devi, are you happy? Oh, Vaidehi, are you happy? Seeing all these wonderful objects of natural delight. Says my ancestors would say that after ruling kingdoms and after spending time in royal delights, the liberation that the kings get is so pleasing. Coming to the forest is like that nectar of liberation. So his Chitrakuta is filled with herbs of different kinds, glittering like anything, etc., etc. Then he describes all the trees that are there, the fruits, the flowers, etc. Then Ramachandra says, if we are in this area the river Mandakini must not be too far from here. He showed from afar. So if you're on Chitrakuta mountain, you can actually see Mandakini river in that area. So he said, "Oh Sita Devi, see just this beautiful Mandakini river. It is full of swans and geese, and the banks are laden with very beautiful flowers. Kusumair upasamapamanam Pashya Mandakinim Nadim." This Mandakini river. He says, so try to, if you can imagine, a whole area verdant, completely lush green, and it's like that even today. And the beautiful Mandakini river flowing, and its banks filled with flowering trees, and behind hedged with trees that give amazing shade, and the place filled with butterflies, swans and geese flying in, flying out, making all sorts of sounds and noises. And then he says, it's so pleasing that herds of deer are coming here and drinking water. When I look at this pleasing scene, I have ecstasy in my heart. And then he says, you see sages with matted locks of hair. They're wearing antelope skin, okay, and wearing tree bark as upper garment. They are taking a dip in the Mandakini river at the right time in the day. Then they are lifting or carrying water in their palms and raising the hands high and offering to the sun god. The breeze, that is gentle breeze that is flowing here, it appears as if the trees are dancing for the pleasure of the mountains. Uh, and then after the whole description, while they're enjoying this scene of uh, being in Chitrakoot area along the Mandakini river, um, they hear something. While this is happening, they are relishing fresh fruits and the pleasing environment. From afar, they hear suddenly a clamor. And in that clamor, huge elephants and other animals are fleeing from the scene out of fear. And Ramachandra heard that some this clamor and saw all these animals and birds flocking away, running away. He wondered what happened. Why is this happening so? And having seen this, my computer is for some reason. There you go. Ramachandra turned to Lakshmana and said, Lakshmana, what is going on? Do you hear this tumultuous sound? He says, Hanta Lakshmana, Pashya iha Sumitra Supraja Tvaya. Oh, valiant son of Sumitra, Bhima Stanitaha, Gambhiraha Tumulaha, Shruyate Swanaha. Bhima, so these are the words Bhima, Gambhira, and Tumula. Tumala literally is tumultuous. Have you heard this sound? And he says, Gachayuthani Varanye, Mahishava Mahavane. All the buffaloes, elephants, these are beasts that are not easily frightened. I mean, imagine if an elephant is walking by and let's say we show up and we take a stick and say, Hut! The elephant is not going to get scared of us. But for an elephant to run away in fear, something else is happening. And he says, why is there this disturbance? Lakshmana, can you find out? So immediately Lakshmana climbed a sal tree that was full in bloom, red color flowers of sal tree. He climbed up and he looked in the eastern direction and he didn't see anything. Then he turned his face from eastern side to northern side and he was shocked. He saw a massive army full of chariots, horses, elephants, and many infantry or foot soldiers. And Lakshmana, from up on the tree, informed Ramachandra, who's at the bottom of the tree, that he sees this army and the chariots are decorated with flags. So Lakshmana says to Sri Ramachandra, "O Ramachandra, please quickly put out the fire, because the fire billows smoke, and from that smoke you can identify where a person is." And he says, let's take Sita to a hiding place. Please make your bow ready and put on your armor. Be ready. So Ramachandra asked Lakshmana, whose army do you think it is? Kasya, Saumitre, Kasya etan manyase? Who do you think is coming here? Then Lakshmana, who was already irritated that someone is coming to spoil their peace in Citrakoota, looked carefully and he saw Bharata's flag. Remember, it's the pomegranate tree. Bharata's flag insignia is the pomegranate tree. So Lakshmana saw and he said, Sampannam Rajam Ichchamaha tu Vyaktam Prapya Abhishechanaha Avam Hantum Samabhyeti Kaikeya Bharata Sutaha. This is Bharata, Kaikeyi's son, who now has become coronated as the king. Abhishechana, his Abhishek is done. He's coming here to kill both of us. It is very clear. And he says, I can see on his chariot this wonderful, massive pomegranate tree. In Sanskrit, it's called Kovidara. His tree is shining on his chariot. And there are so many cavalrymen and infantry, and they're all seeming like they're delighted, like they're looking forward to some confrontation. Ramachandra, let's quickly take up our bows and let's see if we can protect ourselves. Can we see how we can take care of Bharata? In fact, if that is what Bharata has come here as an enemy, I have no problem finishing him away. Okay. Especially Bharata has come as an aggressor. If he has come as an aggressor, killing him is completely justified. And if all it takes is to kill Bharata, then Ramchandra, you can rule the kingdom. And this Kaikeyi, who is craving for her son to be the king, if the son is gone away, she will be crushed like an elephant crushes a tree. And for me, I'm ready. If I need be, I am going to kill Kaikeyi and that hunchback, that is Manthara. So let the earth be relieved of a great sinner. Kalushena adya mahata medini parimuchyatam. Medini means the earth. Muchyatam, may it be freed of Kalushena, a severe sinner. So Lakshmana is all ready, happy to give Bharata a great fight. He said, all my arrows have been sharpened. I will finish everybody here and make Citrakoota flow with the blood of these enemies. These elephants, horses, for me, they don't matter. Um, and by killing Bharata, I will release myself of the debt of these great weapons that are in my possession. Quite contrary is Ramachandra's mood, who's very pacified. He pacified Lakshmana. Lakshmana was very agitated. He says, listen, while Bharata is carrying a bow and a sword, okay, what is the use of it anyway? We have promised to make our father's wish a reality. So, and I'm fulfilling that promise. So, what is the use of the kingdom anyway for me? And why should we get any ill fame by killing Bharata, who's come to see me? He says, I'm not going to get into fighting with Bharata. There's no point enjoying a kingdom this way. And he says, O Lakshmana, I am keeping all my promises for only one reason, that it is to be in the name of Dharma. And I'm touching my weapons. I'm holding my weapons as a Kshatriya. I'm promising on my weapons that I do not have any ill feeling about Kaikeyi or Bharata, or even that I have to live in a forest. Actually, becoming a king of the entire earth is not difficult for me. It's very easy. Neyam mama mahi saumya, Lakshmana, gentle person. Durlabha sagarambara. Sagara ambara. Ambara means clothed. So the ocean is a covering, or it's clothing the land. He says, na iyam mama. It's not difficult to win this earth. But he says, I do not wish the position of Indra either. Nahi ichhe maya dharmena shakratvam api Lakshmana. I don't want to be like an Indra either. So getting angry on Kaikeyi, getting angry on Manthara, and speaking harsh words, or getting angry on Bharata, what's the point? In fact, I know that this is the proper time that Bharata is coming to see us. And I'm very confident he has no malintent in his heart. In fact, has Bharata ever done anything harmful to you previously? So why are you afraid of Bharata, or why are you concerned about his intention now? In fact, I want to tell you something, Lakshmana. I don't want Bharata to hear even the slightest disagreeable or harsh words from your lips. If you offend Bharata, you'll be offending me. This is a principle that if we offend a devotee, we are offending the Supreme Lord. He says, Nahi te nishthuram vacho bharatena na apriyam vachaha. Nishthuram means disagreeable, and apriyam is harsh. Nishturam is harsh and apriyam is disagreeable words, displeasing. Aham hya apriyam uktaha syam bharatasya apriye krute. If you displease Bharata, you are displeasing me. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasada. Yasya aprasadan nagati kutopi. Vande guroshi charanaravind. Dhyayam stuvam yashastri sandhyam. So he says, Lakshmana, if you are saying all this because you want this is all for the sake of the kingdom, then guess what? I will tell Bharata, give Lakshmana the kingdom, and Lakshmana can very happily rule this kingdom. When Ramachandra spoke like that, Lakshmana felt very bashful and shrank into himself. Then he said, I think, Sri Ramachandra said, I think that our father Dasharatha has actually come to see us. I'm sorry, Lakshmana said to Ramachandra, I actually think that our father Dasharath Maharaj has personally come to see you. Then Ramachandra also said, oh, I think Dasharath Maharaj may have come because his mind is restless. He knows that we are so accustomed to living in royalty. He knows that living in the forest may be difficult. So maybe he has come to take us home. And he will take Sita back along with us to the palace. So he says, do you see that from far, can you see the fantastic chariot of Dasharath Maharaj? Can you see the massive elephant that leads Dasharath Maharaj's army? The elephant's name is Shatrunjaya. And do you see this white umbrella that marks the presence of the king? Is it there? And when Lakshmana sees and he searches around, he does not see the white umbrella, he does not see the elephant. Then they know that Dasharath Maharaj is not there. Meanwhile, Bharata, who's progressing towards Citrakoota mountain, makes his army halt there. And he tells his army, we cannot go in further from here because this massive army will completely destroy the beauty of Citrakoot. So we're going to camp here for the evening. And I will, along with Vasishtha Muni, my ministers, the great ministers of Dasharath Maharaj's palace, and my mothers and Shatrughna, walk to find Ramachandra. So he tells Shatrughna, come along with me. And Guha, you also search for Ramachandra here in this kingdom. So he has sent different groups of people. Some ministers and army men have gone searching for Ramachandra in this direction. Guha and his people have gone in this direction. Bharata, Lakshmana, Vasishtha have moved in another direction, looking for Sri Ramachandra. And he says, so there are 3 verses that I'm going to read to you, and notice carefully that there is a refrain at the end of the verse. It's the same phrase that appears again and again. So this is Bharata's eagerness to see Ramachandra. And not seeing Ramachandra means his mind will be disturbed. In Sikshashtaka prayers, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches us, Yugayitam Nimeshena Chakshusha Pravrishayitam Shunyayitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahe Name. That a moment's separation from you feels like 12 years or more. Then there is the verse about the 6 Goswamis, where they are constantly searching for Krishna and Radharani in the groves of Vrindavan. He Radhe, he Vraj Devike Chalalite, he Nanda Suna Kutaha. Where are you? Because without seeing the divine couple, these great souls, they feel restlessness in their heart. So this restlessness, this longing is a feature of uh, love in separation. And here is what Bharata is going to say. Yavan na Ramam drakshyami Lakshmanam va Mahabalam Vaidehim va Mahabhagan Name Shantim Bhavishyati. So that's the phrase. Na me Shantir Bhavishyati. I will not achieve peace as long as I Yavan na Ramam drakshyami, as long as I cannot see Ramachandra. And Rama is not alone. So our philosophy is that we say Guru and Krishna, but technically when we say Guru and Krishna, we say Guru and the divine couple. So Yavanna Drakshyami Ramam Lakshmanam va Mahabalam Vaidehi va. I have to see all three of them. Unless I see them, Name Shantir Bhavishyati. Then next verse. Yavanna Chandra Samkasham Drakshyami Shuhananam Bratuhu Padma Palasha Aksham Name Shantir Bhavishyati. I will not be peaceful if I cannot see the auspicious, beautiful Chandra Sankasham, moon-like face of my dear brother. Shubhananam, very charming, beautiful. Anana is face. And Bhratuhu Padma Palasha Aksham. And his eyes, Padma Palasha, resembling the petals of lotus. Unless my mind will not be peaceful. Name Shantir Bhavishyati. Next. Yavanna Charanau Bhratuhu Parthiva Vyanjana Anvitau Shirasa Dharayishyami Name Shantir Bhavishyati. I will not be peaceful in my heart until until na Charanau Bhratur, until I hold very firmly my brother Sri Ramachandra's lotus feet, which are the feet bear these royal signs, like Lord Krishna's foot and Srimati Radharani's foot. They have all these markings. The feet have these markings in their soles. In Ramachandra's soul, SOLE, there are these markings of great king. And he says, I want those markings to touch my head. Unless I hold those feet on my head, I will not be peaceful. Very beautiful 3 verses. As I was studying it, generally, before we begin any program or at the end of a program, actually not or, and at the end of the program, the Brahmanas recite Shanti Vachana. And we all know it ends with Shanti, 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 3 times. So there are many significances why 3 times. One is 3 times is equal to 1,000 times. Therefore, even in the great verses, he says, Ram, Ram, Rameti, Rame, Rame, Manorame, Sahasra Nama Tattulyam. So when you say something 3 times, it's like saying it 1,000 times. Tat Tulyam Sahasra. So it's like calling out for peace 1,000 times. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Then another reason for saying Shanti 3 times is, let I not be disturbed by the Sattva Guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna, because all 3 are binding. Then Shanti, Shanti, Shanti is, let my heart not be disturbed by Adhyatmika problems, Adi Bhautika problems, and Adi Daivika problems. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti also means let me have peace in all three phases of the day: morning, afternoon, and evening. Three times Shanti is also three phases of life, because Krishna says uh, in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 13, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara. These are the three phases of a human being's life. Let there be peace in those three phases. So for Bharata to say these verses three times, na me shantir bhavishyati, means that my life cannot be peaceful either from the modes of nature or from the different sources of misery or the phases of my life or in general. I have absolutely no peace at all in my life without the presence of Sri Ramachandra, Sita Devi, and Lakshmana, and without the possibility of serving them. So he says, first I want to be in their presence and gaze at them. Then he describes the beauty of Ramachandra's face, Shubhananam. Why? Because pleasing Lord Ramachandra. And how do you know the deity or the Supreme Lord is pleased? By a smile on their face or a pleasing glance that we get from the spiritual master or the deity. Of course, with the deities, all can't necessarily decipher every time. And Yavanna Charanau Bhratuhu Parthiva Vyanjana Anvita. If I cannot hold on to his feet on my head, which means if I cannot dedicate myself to serving him, Padasevanam, or serving the Supreme Lord as my only expression of love for him for the rest of my life, I will not be peaceful. So this is Bharata speaking to Shatrughna. Then he says, I'm sorry, fourth one, there's one more verse. He says, Yavan Rajye Rajyam Arha Prituh Pitahamaye Sthitaha Abhisheka Jala Klinno Name Shantir Bhavishyati. Now, unless I bring Ramachandra back and seat him back on the throne and perform Abhishek for him, I will not be peaceful. He says, my life will only be successful. Siddhartha. Lakshmana, his life is successful because he is constantly looking at Ramachandra's face. And Sita also has received the pinnacle of success because she's very carefully following the footsteps of Ramachandra. And Citrakoot mountain, although is like Kubera living here, even the mountain is successful because it is offering service to Ramachandra. This entire forest, all the wild animals, the birds, every living being there is completely successful in their life. They're very blessed because the three are constantly wandering the forest. And that's where chapter 98 ends. I am going to speak about their meeting quickly, and then the conversation will reserve for next week. So as Bharata, who's very eagerly meditating on the prospect of seeing Ramachandra, Vasishtha, the three mothers, Sumantra, Shatrughna, they're all searching. Then Bharata, as he walked, he saw that they come to a place where there was firewood and a hut made of leaves. And Bharata said, oh, it seems like someone is staying here because there is kusha grass for yagya, there are firewood that is chopped there, and it seems like uh, there are heaps of dung from deer and buffalo, and that is required to heat up uh, for protection against the cold. If you go through rural India, you see cow dung slapped on the walls to dry it for making as fuel to burn. So as they felt like they were very near Ramachandra somewhere. It said, Bharadwaj Muni told us that somewhere near Mandakini river we will find Ramachandra. Now, when I look at the pieces of tree bark that is hanging to dry, I have a feeling that this is where Lakshmana has put some tree bark hanging so that as he's traversing through the forest and coming back, these are little signs, landmarks, so that he doesn't get lost in the forest. And when I see that smoke coming from a distance, I know uh, the sages are living around here. So I know Ramachandra is somewhere here. So searching this way, Bharata came to the hut where Sri Ramachandra was. And Ramachandra was waiting for Bharata. So when he saw, when Bharata entered, he saw in the northeast corner the sacred fire, because that is called the Ishana Mula. And he looked around from the northeast corner, he turned this way and he saw Sri Ramachandra. He was sitting in, here's the description. Tam tu Krishna Jinam Dharam. Krishna Jina means black deer skin. Chira Valkam Vasasam. Valkam Vasasam is robes made of bark. So I'm reciting this verse so that all of us in our mind's eye can visualize the beautiful form of Sri Ramachandra. Dadarsha Ramam Asinam, sitting down. Abhitaha Pavaka Upamamam. Abhitaha means fearless, calm. And Pavaka Upamam, like the sacred fire called Pavaka. Simha Skandham Mahabahum. His shoulders were majestic and powerful like a lion's. Pundarika Nibha Ikshanam. His eyes brilliant like the white lotus petals. Prithivya Sagaraha Antaya Bharatam Dharmacharinam. And uh, Ramachandra's dharma, the glory, yasha from dharma had extended all the way throughout the earth, even to the beyond the sea. Parthivya Sagara Antaya. That is the great virtue of Sri Ramachandra. And then Upavishtam Mahabahum Brahmanam Iva Shashwatam. And this Shashwatam Brahman, the supreme Brahman, was sitting on the ground. And how was Upavishtam, meaning sitting there, Mahabahum, powerful arms, not like these muscular, but very powerful, protecting and shelter giving arms. Sthandile Darbha Sasatirne Sitaya Lakshmanecha. There was grass spread on the ground, and Sri Ramachandra was sitting in Padmasanam with Sita and Lakshmana next to him. When Bharata saw this vision of Sri Ramachandra, all of his grief went away. And immediately, tears flowing from his eyes. He was not able to restrain himself. And he said, my brother, who is supposed to be a king, sitting with ministers on gold thrones studded with diamonds, being fanned by white chamara whisk and a white umbrella on his head, is sitting in a leaf hut wearing tree bark and surrounded by wild beasts in a jungle. What a condition this is. Huh? I cannot fathom that this personality who should be the king, even a king greater than Indra, is living like a hermit. This person whose body should always be massaged with and covered with the best white sandal paste has only dust to smear on his limbs. Ramachandra, who's used to having happiness, is fallen into a misfortune or is fallen into unfortunate circumstances. What a reprehensible situation this is. And saying this, Bharata was perspiring, crying. His words were, he was just mumbling something and ran, uh, fell down on the ground. He could not even reach Ramachandra's feet. And loudly cried out, "Oh Ramachandra, oh Arya," because he is the great prince, no? And he could not speak anything. And then loudly crying, his voice choked up. He couldn't say anything. But Shatrughna, who was standing next to him, was constantly crying. And he also threw himself at Ramachandra's feet. Ramachandra embraced both of them and they drenched each other in their tears. And then Guha and others, Sumantra and Guha, they saw these four brothers together. It is like seeing in the sky the sun, the moon, Venus and Jupiter all together, which is rarely seen, but when it is seen, it's a very fantastic sight. And everyone who had come there were shedding tears of happiness and distress together. Happiness to have seen Ramachandra and distress to see the condition in which Ramachandra was living like an ascetic in the forest. So with that, we complete chapter 99 of Ayodhya Kanda. Now let me see if there are any questions or comments or thoughts.
Prabhu, can't wait until next week, Prabhu. We want to hear further.
let the meditation help foster eagerness. My spiritual master uses the phrase yearning. Yearning is this very deep anticipation and desire.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, this is Shripati.
Yes,
So when Bharata came with his three mothers to call Rama, did Kaikeyi realize her mistake then?
You have to wait to see what happens next chapter onwards.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
I'll say it. Valmiki Ramayana doesn't mention anything about Kaikeyi particularly then. So we don't know. At least in Valmiki Ramayana, it's not there. We just assume that Bharadwaja Muni told Bharata, don't hold animosity towards your mother. From that time, Bharata stopped.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Wow. Angry wolf.
Prabhuji, how is it that Lakshmana, who is none other than Balaram, he kind of misunderstood the intentions of Bharata?
Don't take the what should I call it? The Leela out of. Don't put in the philosophy to hamper the Leela. Lakshmana is always in the mood of serving Ramachandra and his interests. So Lakshmana's anger is always justified. Always justified. That is how one should feel too. For example, let's say someone offends your spiritual master. We cannot say, well, ultimately Krishna is the protector. There must be some divine reason, so I cannot say anything about it. That's not right. And expressing strongly of saying something is important. So Lakshmana is definitely in that mood. And from a grander perspective, Bharata's glory is only increasing, because when Lakshmana speaks like that, Ramachandra says, no, I know Bharata's heart. So it's part of the pastime to enhance our appreciation for Bharata, that he is coming to invite Ramachandra back. But our appreciation for Lakshmana should also grow, that how he is always thinking about Ramachandra's interests constantly. And Ramachandra, who's on this side, saying, I know Bharata's heart. So don't think of Ramachandra and Lakshmana as separate persons per se, but the internal dialogue, that there is doubt, but there is also the character. So Ramachandra very carefully says to Lakshmana, do you have a history with him? Have you seen how he is? Has he ever uttered anything harmful or painful to you? So think of Bharata's character in general. It's not his character.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Anything else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
You said Bharata's flag was like the pomegranate. So, like each one of them, Ramachandra, Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrughna had different flags.
Yeah. You read Bhagavad Gita, they had different conches. Panchajanya, Devadatta.
That's for the Pandavas. So, like that, they also have.
You have to identify. Arjuna's chariot had Hanuman on the flag. Parikshit Maharaj has a lion. So each person has their own, it's called insignia or symbol.
Is there a description somewhere about what's the flag for Ramachandra, Lakshmana, and Shatrughna?
I don't know. I'm sure there is. I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept.
There, Shamkund will tell us.
Prabhu. I just wanted to thank you. I felt very happy hearing the narration today, and something
So
that
you're not feeling happy with the previous narrations?
yeah. One of the, I mean, along with the past classes, today's one are the way you narrated when Rama asked Sita, "Are you happy?"
Hmm.
It was very touching. It revealed the personal nature of the Lord.
Yeah.
And also when you spoke of the three different ways in which Bharata was saying that he's not having peace, and analyzing it was very revealing and very satisfying. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for
Thank you.
doing that.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Okay, nothing else, I'm assuming. Okay, thank you for joining in for one more week. I appreciate all of you joining. It gives me great inspiration. Until we meet again next week, may the beautiful form of Sri Ramachandra, Sita Devi, and Lakshmana sitting in Citrakoota in a hut, just as the verse describes, be the object of our meditation and inspiration in bhakti. Hare Krishna, everyone. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.